3 steps to regain a woman's interest without begging. Introduction. Why this matters. When a woman begins to lose interest, most men immediately feel panic. The sudden shift in her energy, less texting, colder replies, avoiding plans creates fear in the man's heart. He thinks, what did I do wrong? How do I fix this? Should I call her more? Should I chase? This is the exact point where 99% of men destroy their chances. They beg, they plead, and they try to force attraction back into existence. But attraction cannot be forced. It cannot be begged into life. Women lose respect for men who beg, because begging comes from weakness, not strength. And in the psychology of women, weakness is the biggest attraction killer. That's why today, we're going to look at 3 steps to regain a woman's interest without begging. Using the principles of Stoicism, the ancient philosophy of calmness, self-control, and unshakable strength. Why men lose a woman's interest. Before we dive into the steps, we need to understand why women lose interest in the first place. Attraction isn't something you can hold forever without effort. It's dynamic. It changes based on how you show up as a man. There are a few common reasons why women lose interest. Predictability. At first, you were exciting, mysterious, and full of energy. But over time, you became routine. She can predict everything you'll say, every move you'll make. Mystery dies. Attraction dies. Neediness. Instead of leading your own life, you start revolving around hers. Your purpose becomes her. She feels this, and she instantly feels smothered. Loss of masculine polarity. Masculine energy attracts feminine energy. But when a man becomes indecisive, overly emotional, or dependent, polarity weakens. She'll no longer feels that pull. Lack of growth. Women are biologically wired to desire men who rise. When she feels your stagnant same routine, no ambition, she questions if you're truly the man she desires long term. The bottom line, interest, is lost when you stop being the man she was initially attracted to. The Stoic mindset in relationships. Now here's where Stoicism enters. The Stoics believed in controlling what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. You cannot control her feelings. You cannot control her mood swings. You cannot control her behavior, but you can always control how you respond, how you carry yourself, how much power you give away. When a woman pulls away, the average man loses control. He reacts emotionally, starts over-explaining, over-pursuing, and ultimately looks weak. But the Stoic man, he stays grounded. He understands that emotions are clouds, temporary, shifting. He doesn't chase storms. He stands firm like a mountain. This calmness, this self-possession, is magnetic. Women are drawn to men who are not easily shaken. Why begging never works. Let's make this absolutely clear. Begging never works. Why? Because begging communicates weakness. It says, you are my entire source of happiness, and without you, I am nothing. To a woman, that's not love. That's pressure. It's emotional burden. Think of it this way. If someone begged you every day to stay with them, would you feel closer to them more? Would you feel trapped? Exactly, you'd feel trapped. Begging doesn't rebuild attraction, it destroys it. And yet, most men keep doing it because they're terrified of losing her. Ironically, the fear of losing her is the very thing that makes her walk away. Step 1. Emotional detachment. Deep dive. The first step to regaining a woman's interest without begging is emotional detachment. Now don't misunderstand. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring or that you become cold and heartless. It means you stop reacting to every shift in her mood. You stop tying your self-worth to her approval. You stop panicking when she pulls away. Emotional detachment is the ability to say, I want you in my life, but I don't need you to survive. My happiness is not dependent on you. This mindset flips the script completely. Why? Because women are not obsessed with men who are obsessed with them. They become obsessed with men who are obsessed with themselves, their mission, their growth, their purpose. How to practice emotional detachment. Pause before you react when she texts you coldly. Don't fire back instantly. Breathe. Think. A delayed response shows calmness and control. Maintain your routine. Don't cancel your gym, work, or hobbies just because she seems distant. Keep your life steady. She must feel that your world doesn't collapse when her mood shifts. Reaffirm your identity. Ask yourself, who am I outside of this relationship? If you've forgotten, that's the problem. Rediscover your purpose. Limit emotional overexposure. Don't dump your every thought and insecurity onto her. Women are not built to handle all your emotional weight. That's what your discipline, your journaling, your brotherhood, and even philosophies like Stoicism are for. The psychology behind detachment. Here's the paradox. When you emotionally detach, women lean back and. Why? Because your calmness creates uncertainty. She wonders, why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he chasing me? Does he still care? This uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity reignites attraction. Remember, human beings value what they're at risk of losing. When you show her that you're not desperately clinging to her, she feels that risk and it makes her rethink pulling away. Closing part 1. So in this first part, we've set the foundation. Why women lose interest. Why begging kills attraction. The Stoic approach to staying grounded. Step 1. Emotional detachment. Without emotional detachment, nothing else works. This is the first and most crucial step in regaining her interest without begging. Step 2. Scarcity and value in human psychology. We always value what is scarce. Diamonds are valuable not because they are necessary for survival, but because they are rare. The same principle applies to relationships. When you are always available, always chastening, always dropping everything for her, you are not scarce. You are abundant. And what is abundant loses value. Think of it this way. If someone texted you 50 times a day, begging for your attention, how much value would you place on their presence? Very little. Why? Because they've made themselves too available. Now compare that to someone who lives a full life, is busy, hard to reach, and yet when they give you their attention, it feels rare, special, valuable. That's the psychology of scarcity, and here's the key. Women are wired to chase men who embody scarcity. Why? Scarcity works on female psychology. Women are biologically tuned to seek out the highest value mate. Evolutionarily, they had to. Woman's survival depended on choosing a man who could protect, provide, and lead. So, how do women judge value? By competition. If other women want you, she feels your value is high. By presence. If you don't give your attention easily, she assumes it must be valuable. By purpose. If your life is bigger than her, she feels she must work to earn her place in it. Scarcity flips the power dynamic. Instead of you chasing her, she begins to chase you. How men kill scarcity. Most men unknowingly destroy their value by over-texting, flooding her phone with validation, canceling plans always available at her convenience, over-explaining, defending every action, trying to convince her of their worth, over-prioritizing, making her the center of their world instead of their mission. This communicates, I am not scarce, I am desperate. And desperation is the enemy of attraction. How to create scarcity the right way. Scarcity doesn't mean ghosting her completely or playing childish games. It means strategically aligning your energy so that your presence feels like a gift, not a guarantee. Here's how. Invest less, not nothing. Don't overcompensate with energy. Respond, but don't chase. Care, but don't beg. Scarcity isn't about being cold, it's about being measured. Stay busy with purpose. Have a life that excites you. Career, fitness, learning, passions. When your time is consumed by meaningful pursuits, your presence becomes rare and valuable. Protect your attention. Attention is the most expensive currency in relationships. Don't give it away freely. She must earn it. Silence is a tool. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. If she's disrespectful, don't argue. Withdraw. Let the absence of your energy communicate your boundaries. The psychological trigger of scarcity. When you embody scarcity, her brain fires off a primal reaction. Why isn't he chasing me? Why does he feel hard to reach? Did I lose him? This creates tension, and tension creates attraction. She begins to compare you with other men because other men will beg, while you remain calm, scarce, and in control. This difference makes you stand out. In fact, many women will start testing harder when they sense scarcity because deep down, they are trying to confirm if you're truly high value, or just pretending. Examples of scarcity in action. She texts. You don't text me like you used to. You calmly reply, I've been busy, but I like hearing from you. Give simple, calm, scarce. She says, why are you so distant lately? You smile and reply, not distant, focused. There's a difference. Give. She feels curiosity. Instead of control, she pulls away for days. You don't panic. You continue with your life, your gym, your work. When she comes back, you welcome her warmly, but you don't question her absence. Give. She realizes your world doesn't stop without her. Stoicism and scarcity. Stoicism teaches us that the external world, people, situations, moods is outside our control. What is in our control is our response. Scarcity is simply stoicism in practice. Instead of reacting emotionally, you step back. Instead of trying to force her interest, you preserve your value. The Stoic man is not abundant with his energy, he guards it. He knows his time, attention, and presence are precious. Closing part 2. So now we have Step 1, emotional detachment. Control yourself, not her. Step 2, scarcity and value. Make your presence rare, your attention valuable. Together, these two steps already shift the dynamic. You go from the man chasing her to the man she begins to chase again. But the journey isn't complete yet. Because regaining interest isn't just about pulling away, it's also about reigniting her curiosity and desire. Step 3, reigniting curiosity. A woman's interest is built on emotion plus mystery. When everything is predictable, when she knows every detail of your day, when she can anticipate every word before it leaves your mouth, curiosity dies. And when curiosity dies, attraction fades. So, the final step in regaining a woman's interest is learning how to reignite curiosity, not by manipulation, not by cheap tricks, but by becoming a man who is genuinely engaging, evolving, and unpredictable in the best way. Why curiosity is attractive. Curiosity creates tension. Tension creates excitement, and excitement creates attraction. Think about the early stages of dating. She doesn't know everything about you yet. Every story is new. Every conversation reveals another layer. She wonders, who is this man really? That wonder is what keeps her invested. Over time, many men destroy curiosity by oversharing too quickly. becoming repetitive and routine, losing passion for life outside the relationship, giving up self-improvement. Result, she feels she already knows everything and the mystery is gone. How to reignite curiosity in her mind? Here are the strategies rooted in both Stoicism and female psychology. Live in layers. Don't reveal everything at once. Let your actions, not your words, tell your story. If she asks about your day, give her highlights, not every detail. Leave her with something to wonder about. Surprise with growth. Start learning a new skill, improving your fitness, or pursuing a passion project. When she sees you evolving, she thinks, what's he up to now? This triggers curiosity. Be unpredictable in the right way. If you always text her at the same time, always suggest the same places, always follow the same routine, she can predict you. Instead, add variation. Suggest a new restaurant. Take her on an unexpected experience. Change the rhythm of your responses. Not as a game, but as a reflection of a man who lives dynamically. Maintain social proof. When she sees others value your presence, friends, colleagues, family, her perception of your worth grows. Social proof reignites curiosity. Why do others admire him? Am I missing something? The Stoic philosophy of curiosity. Stoicism teaches us to remain steady, unshaken by external chaos. But steadiness does not mean stagnation. A Stoic man grows in silence. He works when no one is watching. He surprises not by bragging, but by evolving. This silent growth is magnetic. A woman sees it and thinks, what else is he capable of? That is curiosity. How curiosity works in female psychology. In female psychology, curiosity is directly linked to emotional investment. Uncertainty. When she's unsure of your next move, she pays attention. Contrast. When you break a pattern, she feels something new. Challenge. When you are not fully conquered, she stays engaged. That's why women often chase men who feel slightly out of reach, not because they want games, but because they are wired to desire challenge. Examples of reigniting curiosity instead of texting. Good morning, every single day. You skip a day, then later send, was thinking about you when I saw something interesting today. Gives unexpected, creates curiosity. You've been going to the gym quietly. Next time she sees you, your energy and appearance are sharper. She wonders, when did this happen? She asks, what are you doing tonight? You reply, got something planned. Tell you about it later. Give short.com. Intriguing. Common mistakes men make trying too hard to impress. Bragging kills curiosity. Acting mysterious, fake, playing games or pretending makes her lose respect. Oversharing emotions. Vulnerability is good, but constant emotional dumping kills the sense of discovery. The key is balance. Open enough to connect, closed enough to intrigue. Curiosity plus scarcity equals powerful combination. Scarcity makes her miss you. Curiosity makes her think about you. Together they create obsession. She begins replaying your words, wondering what you're doing, craving more of your presence. This is how attraction reawakens without you begging, chasing, or lowering yourself. Stoic example of curiosity. Marcus Aurelius didn't seek attention. He focused on self-mastery, yet people were endlessly curious about his inner strength, his wisdom, his calm presence. You don't need to shout who you are. You need to live so fully, so purposefully, that others can't help but wonder. That is the Stoic way of reigniting curiosity. Closing part 3. Now we have the full blueprint. Step 1, emotional detachment. Control yourself. Step 2, scarcity and value. Make your attention rare. Step 3, reigniting curiosity. Become a man she can't fully predict. When you master these 3 steps, you stop being the man who begs for interest and you become the man whose presence is magnetic. But before we close, there's one last piece left. How to maintain this dynamic long-term so her interest doesn't fade again. Part for the Stoic philosophy of long-term attraction. Regaining her interest is powerful, but the real challenge is keeping it alive long-term. Many men succeed in sparking attraction again only to lose it because they slip back into old habits. Attraction is not something you win once. It's a living, breathing energy that requires awareness, self-control, and consistency. The good news? With Stoic principles and a deeper understanding of female psychology, you can maintain her interest without stress, without games, and without losing yourself. Mistakes that kill long-term interest. Complacency. Once men feel secure, they stop growing. This is the fastest way to bore a woman. Overdependence, needing her validation constantly makes her lose respect. Losing frame. When you start bending to every mood swing, every demand, you stop being the grounded man she was drawn to. Neglecting yourself. Attraction fades when you stop prioritizing your health, ambitions, and passions. A Stoic man avoids these by staying disciplined. He doesn't just win her back, he keeps evolving so she never feels she has completely figured him out. How to keep her hooked long-term. 1. Stay grounded in purpose. Say man with purpose is never boring. When you wake up with direction, whether in business, fitness, or personal growth, you radiate energy that keeps her intrigued. She admire you not for chasing her, but for chasing greatness. 2. Continue practicing. Scarcity isn't only for regaining interest, it's for maintaining it. Always balance closeness with independence. Spend quality time with her. but also keep time for yourself, your goals, and your passions. A woman respects a man who values himself enough not to be constantly available. 3. Never stop evolving. The biggest turnoff for women is stagnation. Growth is attractive because it shows strength, ambition, and resilience. Keep surprising her with new skills, new ideas, and new goals. Not to impress her, but because this is what makes you a high-value man. 4. Handle tests with calmness. Women test men, consciously or unconsciously, to check their strength. Sometimes she'll push your boundaries. Sometimes she'll trigger emotions. A weak man reacts. A stoic man remains calm, responds with clarity, and doesn't lose his frame. Every test passed makes her feel safe and attracted. The philosophy of being irreplaceable. Every woman subconsciously compares the man she's with to other men. If she feels you are like everyone else, predictable, needy, emotionally unstable, her interest dies. But when you embody strength, calmness, self-respect, and steady growth, you become rare. And what is rare is valued. How she thinks when you master stoic attraction. He doesn't need me, but he chooses me. I can't fully predict him. He keeps surprising me. Other people admire him. I'm lucky to have him. He's calm under pressure. I feel safe with him. If I lost him, I'd regret it. This is the inner dialogue you create, not by begging or chasing, but by living with strength and self-control. Long-term stoic practices for attraction. Morning reflection. Start the day by reminding yourself, her interest is not my control. My growth is. Evening journaling. Write one way you improve today mentally, physically, or emotionally. Silent self-discipline. Improve without announcing it. Let your results speak. Control the controllables. Don't react to her moods. Control your emotions. Why this works? Because women are emotional creatures. Their attraction is tied to how they feel in your presence. When you are calm, give she feels safe. When you are scarce, give she values your attention. When you grow, gives she feels lucky to be with you. When you remain unshaken, gives she respects you deeply. This combination ensures her interest doesn't just return, it stays. Final words. Bye. The path of regaining and keeping a woman's interest without begging is not about tricks or manipulation. It's about becoming the man she can't ignore. Detach emotionally, control yourself. Use scarcity and value, make your attention rare. Reignite curiosity, stay unpredictable and evolving. Live, stoically, long-term, build a life of purpose, strength, and calmness. When you embody these principles, you won't have to chase. She will invest, she will respect, and she will feel drawn to you again, because deep down, every woman craves a man who doesn't beg for love, but inspires it.